Welcome back to the KIKAO session.
Thank you.
We are talking of something very important about the market, which is at the end, that is what matters for the farmer to get the market for the produce and then convert the produces into income that will improve the livelihood of the family and contribute to the economy. But how practically do we help the farmer access the market? How do we ensure that the smallholder farmer gets the right return from the activity, and also the consumer gets the product, the good product at the right and fair price? And also, I think we need to look into that. What is really what we need to do, and who should do that to transform the farmer into a key player in food security, nutrition security, and economic development of our country?
Yes, thank you very much. You know, when you are looking at access to market, it's not a one solution thing. And there is no single organization that can address that. And I give you practical example from what we do. You have several organizations that are stakeholder along the entire value chain to come to play. So at the time of agreement on this contract farming and linkages to market, you bring in the input dealer, you bring on the insurance person, the legal people are there, because one of the fears of the farmers will be that what if we have an agreement with someone, we produce, and at the end of the day, the person doesn't show up. After all, it has happened with policy things. They ask farmers to grow wheat, maybe. That year, farmers grow wheat with the promise that, okay, it's going to be off-taken, maybe by government. And towards production, you find out that a huge importation is done, and the farmers are left without any solution. So what happens in such a situation? This is where organizations like ours, the stakeholders, will bring in our strength. For instance, we come with the input dealers, the extension services are there, the technology people are there, insurance, the backbone. We have to sign the contract agreement at the beginning and at the end before selling of these things. So it's not possible for one person to just slip off. And also you track market so that the farmers are not cheated. For instance, we track market with the media people. The media is our closest friend, because on daily basis we bring closer to the populace the cost of input, the cost of what they are selling, so someone will not come and off-take everything from the farmer. And how does the farmer know where market is? Of course, before you do the agreement, you have discussed, for instance, cereal. Maybe you have had an agreement with Nestle. They've told you the type of cereal they need. They've told you how much it is or how much they are willing to do. So all of those things are there, and you bring the farmers and all these stakeholders together in a one-day program monitored by media, and you discuss all of this. So if farmers don't produce what Nestle needs, then it's not their fault, and they bring in the input that they needed. So all of this will be put together, and it makes it comfortable. Today, Wofan has what we call the Taurarua rice in market. It is known. It is in the superstores and everywhere. It starts from the input dealers. So we get the rice seeds from the research institution, and a section of them are even seed producers within their community, so we can increase production of that, supervised by extension. Then we bring in improved technology. Today we are distributing, for instance, the groundnut shelling machine that shells about 50 bags of 75 kg groundnut per day. And you know that you need about 10 women for 5 days to manually shell that for you. But today there's a machine that can shell 50 of this in a day. So you find out that men are bringing their products for women to process, and it's making both men and women to work together.
Fantastic.
So this is how this market should be creative. Let us make use of the strength of the stakeholders to transform it into a partnership union. Whatever we call it, maybe partnership coalition or partnership whatever. You in your organization, this is your strength, this is her strength. We bring all of it together. If all of us are saying this together, it links the smallholder farmers collectively, and we're not duplicating effort. We are not reinventing the wheel. And at the end of the day, we are making sure that the buyers are getting the right production. I'll just give you a very good example before I round up. The partnership between WOFAN and ICRISAT, for instance, I think they were the World Food winners during the AGRA program as well. We've been working with them for the past 15 years. And they've given us 15 different varieties of groundnut. So in every region of Nigeria, we know which package of groundnut is suitable for them. But it's not stopping at that. Our aim is to make sure that we produce aflatoxin-free groundnut. So from seed level, they are training us. Apart from giving us seed, they are our trainers in making sure that the good agricultural practices, the use of AflaSafe, which farmers need to put to their farm, only 10 kg to reduce aflatoxin, all of it is there. And then post-harvest losses, we make sure that it is reduced through those training and how they package it. So you can see ICRISAT and WOFAN and the extension workers, all of us are working together towards addressing aflatoxin, which is a problem of Africa, that our peanut is not going anywhere outside our continent because it is rejected.
Yeah, fantastic. I think what I can take from the submission of Dr. Salamatu is we need upstream information to guide what the smallholder farmer will produce. We need downstream information. Where will the produce go? How it will be processed? How it will be packaged? How it will be? How it will reach the market, the consumer? And then another thing, we don't work in isolation. We work in a partnership, because we have different comparative advantages. So if we put that and create synergies, then we can make it. And the smallholder farmer, the economy, and the consumer will be the beneficiaries. There are all those issues we talked about. There is this need to transform the perception and the mindset of a smallholder farmer to go from subsistence to farming for the market. And there is still the small size of the operations of a smallholder farmer, and the need to put things together to aggregate all those. Tell me, when you look at all those challenges, when you look at the picture of where you would like to bring the farmer, how do you design the trajectory? How do you look forward and say, I want the smallholder farmer to participate more and be more productive in the agriculture industry, to do this way, the trends and then the direction, the roadmap.
Thank you so much, Doc, and thank you so much, my colleague, for bringing that aspect. There's nothing small that cannot be made beautiful. I mean, you can work with anything small and transform it into something big. So let's start from there. And moving forward, data is becoming a very powerful tool, because data then gives you information. Information then helps people to become wiser in terms of what they make as decisions. And moving forward, that is going to be a very key area. And the government, I think it's high time the government started investing in data, in information, because when you have information, you can make informed decisions. That's one. We are now in the era where we are talking about sustainable food systems. Therefore, we cannot ignore smallholder farmers. They have to be integrated into the food supply chain through the sustainable food production systems. And we are looking at the trends that are coming up in the world right now. Global warming, we can no longer ignore it. And issues around ethical food that has been produced in an ethical way, because consumers are demanding for ethical food production systems. I think Carrefour right now, I think they have gone the cage-free egg supply. If you supply eggs from chicken that have been kegged, Carrefour supermarket right now, they are not accepting it. Now you can actually see a shift in the consumer preferences in terms of, are you producing food in an ethical manner? Look at issues around use of agrochemicals and sustainability of the environment. So issues around conservation agriculture, if you want to call it regenerative agriculture, because the soils can no longer continue being the way they are, and we still expect them to give us production that will sustain the environment, the population. So that's an area that is very key moving forward. Two, we are looking at specialty markets coming up. People are either going organic farming, or people are going a certain way of procuring the kind of food that they feed. So our smallholder farmers will have to also bring themselves to a level where they can also target profitable markets, like those specialty markets where they can sell. Using the example of what happened in Kenya, the KFC saga that happened in Kenya, smallholder farmers can no longer be left behind, because if you're using a raw material that smallholder farmers can produce in that country, the only impediment they have is because the quality does not match your standard. What prevents you from training them and bringing the seed that you want? They will still produce for you. And therefore we are saying they need to be vertically integrated within the bigger multinational system of doing business. And therefore that is the trend that we are looking at moving forward. Digitization, we can no longer assume it. Farmers are going the smart way of doing smart business using smart transaction methods. So that is something
there is
that
a number of things.
Exactly.
And many players need to come to this and provide guidance on how to link the smallholder farmers with those, for example, the need of multinational,
and then policies have to work,
which constitute a big market. So there is need of a strong political will and leadership to really dedicate effort in strengthening and empowering the smallholder farmer and put him comfortably in that chain of players. Violet talked about something very important: data, evidence, to influence decision. And we know that data, you can produce them through sections like monitoring and evaluation on the operations, but also and mainly with working closely to a segment of key players we have not talked about, researchers. Who will do research, produce research. Tell me, Daktari, do you have that connection with research? Do they come and talk to the members of your association? Do they contribute to producing data which can help you have wiser and up-to-date decisions?
Yeah, thank you very much. Like in my last example that I gave, I showed you how we work with like the NAERLS, which is the Nigeria Agricultural Extension Research Institute. We work with them. ICRISAT is a research organization, so they play a very significant role. But it's not just researching that is the issue, but even knowing where the strength. You asked one question, and my colleague said something that I think I should also build on, is that how do you even know how to take the farmers across the entire value chain? Where do you push them? This is where we come in to see that at the point of commencement of an intervention, at the time of baseline, you're supposed to know the classification of these farmers. For instance, we know the farmers through them and with their own understanding, the classification of who are the producers, which people are adding value. We have those that are doing backward integration that only use the residue and now add value to it to feed livestock, and they are preparing to sell because festive period is coming now. The groundnut shell, there are some that concentrate just on that. So at the beginning, you classify this, which is data. So you have your baseline, the midline, and the end line. So when these researchers come, you know which cluster you are giving to them. So this now builds on giving us the right figure, and it tells you how to quantify your intervention. You want to know which place is appropriate for growing this, which place is appropriate for that. So research institution is one area I know that government and funders are making a kind of mistake of not paying adequate attention to them. It's time to translate research into action. The number of researches done and are on the shelves of our lecturers and students. If we try to test these things and make them actionable and we implement them, I think it will move us to a better level. Then another level I know that we are always making mistake on is we look at media as people you should just give them mere information to go and broadcast. They should be part and parcel of every step of agricultural development you are taking. Let them witness the discussion with the farmers, what is coming out of it, so when they are relating this, they understand the concept. But these areas, media and research, you cannot divorce them without this advancement of agriculture, not just in Africa, in the whole world.
In the whole world.
Thank you.
We are talking of agriculture and here mainly of smallholder farmers. They constitute 70 to 80% of our population. They are very critical in food production and in ensuring food security, absolutely. But then they have a lot of challenges to face. One of them is disconnection from the smallholder farmer to the market, which would improve the income and also motivate them to be even more productive. And this has a number of factors which need to be addressed. And addressing them is first getting the right information to them, but also supporting them in terms of connecting to the market, reliable and profitable market, having a network and creating partnerships, having data and linking them to researchers and communicators. The media is a part of them, and have a dedicated effort from all kinds of leaders and influencers, so that this segment of agriculture at smallholder farming level can be also transformed. Transforming this and making it profitable will change more than 70% of our populations in rural areas.
That's right.
It is very critical.
It's very critical.
So I thank you very much for all your ideas and contribution. Your experience is enormous. I think we need more KIKAO sessions to take advantage from this.
Thank you so much.
Viewers, thank you very much for your attention. You have seen it is very important to participate, to listen to these conversations. I invite you to the next KIKAO, which will be as interesting or more interesting than this one in the agricultural sector. I thank you very much and goodbye for now.
And so there is the verdict. The space exists and the market also exists. There is every reason to get involved in agriculture. My name is Joe Agale. Until next time, thank you for watching KIKAO.